All right, guys, how's it going? We're going to be doing a versus slash comparison between the Magpul Armor's Wrench and Midwest Industries' somewhat new Armor's Wrench. This has been out, I think it came out sometime this year, and I like it a lot. Now, the reason why I'm comparing these two as opposed to some of the other wrenches out there that I have is because these two are very, very similar in style and material, etc., and also in features. But there is a winner here, and I believe it is the Midwest Industries Armor's Wrench, and I'm going to explain why. Now, with that being said, I'm not a negative dude. I'm not here to downplay or trash Magpul. Magpul makes excellent products. If they didn't, I wouldn't own this wrench and use this wrench. This is actually the wrench that I like to take with me out in the field, out at the gun range. It's just I really like that this Magpul wrench is very sleek and clean and minimalistic, while still affording the gun builder, the assembler, the DIYer, the ability to do everything that they need to do in terms of putting together a rifle, maintaining a rifle, etc. But I'm going to explain why I think the Midwest Industries Armor's Wrench is a little bit better than the Magpul wrench. First off, the hammer feature. While it's nice that Magpul decided to include a hammer on both sides, I think one of them is like texturized and the other side is a little bit more flat. The problem that I have with the hammer, while again I appreciate that it's there, it could have been executed a little bit differently. What I would have liked to have seen is the hammer kind of protrude out just a little bit. So in the event that you're using this armor's wrench, let's say like on a lower upper receiver or another firearm part, another accessory, if you will, it's really likely to make contact with this portion of the wrench right here where I'm pointing. And that's a problem because this material is pretty hard. Oh, bless you, doggy. My dogs are sneezing. So yeah, it's really easy for this part of the armor's wrench where I'm pointing to make contact with, let's say, like a lower receiver if you're trying to use the hammer. And it just becomes a problem. It's just an awkward feature. It's an awkward hammer. Again, I'm glad that they included it. It's better than nothing, I suppose, but still it could have been executed a little bit differently, in my opinion. I do like that they did their best to really make something sleek and approachable and mature and not goofy, because some wrenches are just straight up goofy. But no, I'm gonna have to give it to Midwest Industries. Their hammer does everything right. Granted, it's a little bit smaller, so but appears to be well designed, well made. It seems to be really sturdy. It looks really, really tough. And I like how the material for the hammer, it actually protrudes out. It protrudes quite a bit out. So if you are hammering away, this portion of the armor's wrench is not going to be making contact, or it should not be making contact at all, let's say with like a lower receiver. That is excellent. Now, let's talk about I'm going to flip this over just so I can illustrate this point just a little bit better. These slots here, right here where I'm pointing, these slots are meant to interface with a torque wrench. Now, that is a precision tool. The torque wrench is insanely useful and absolutely necessary, in my opinion, to assemble a firearm. The problem, or not the problem, but one issue, if you will, with the Magpul's armor's wrench is that they only have one slot for the torque wrench. So if I were to torque down a castle nut, it can be a little bit awkward. You really are quite a distance away from the castle nut that you're torquing down or tightening down, and it's not an issue. There's no rules saying that the torque wrench needs to be close, but it does make it a lot easier. It's significantly less awkward, and I like to be closer to my tool when I'm working on it. I like to be really, really close, and I like to see what it is that I'm doing, and that you just don't get that ability with the Magpul's armor's wrench as opposed to the Midwest Industries armor's wrench. You have two slots for that precision tool, which is the torque wrench. So you have one close to where you would torque down a castle nut, and then you have another one where you would torque down, like a GI barrel nut, etc. And of course, you also have a slot right here for A2 receiver extension tubes, and you can, again, if you're torquing that down to, utilizing the the torque wrench, you have a slot right here, right next to it. How cool is that? As opposed to the Magpul wrench, which lacks that feature. Again, they wanted to do something that's a little bit cleaner and sleeker, and maybe that might not matter to most people. It doesn't really matter to me, because if I'm utilizing this end of the Magpul wrench to tighten up a A2 receiver extension tube, I'm not torquing it down with a precision tool. I'm doing it by hand because I can do that. But still, for some who want that stability, that amount of control, the ability to use a torque wrench comfortably, you get that with the Midwest Industries Armor's wrench. The Midwest Industries Armor's wrench also costs less. You can save or spend about $20, $30 less on the Midwest Industries tool, which is made in the USA, by the way, as opposed to Magpul's Armor's wrench. And this is something that I brought up in another video as to why I like the ATI or ATI's Armor's wrench. I actually had that right here. It's because you have all the business ends of this tool, they are exposed, so it's a lot easier to get in on the action with a tool like this. Now with the Magpul wrench, you have to guide. Let me see. You have to guide the wrench, and you got to be really careful because it's really easy to ding this up, and then you tighten down your castle nut. As opposed to this, you just go whoop and you're done. And then you tighten down and do what it is you got to do. Very, very cool. And not only that, this wrench, as opposed to, let's say, the ATI's Armor's wrench, and again, the ATI makes really, really great stuff. And oh man, look at this. Look at the thickness of Midwest Industries tool, as opposed to ATI's Armor's wrench. This is really, really heavy duty, really, really sturdy, really well made. I'm really, really impressed with the Midwest Industry tool here. And of course, you also have a slot right here for the the muzzle device. Again, Midwest Industries tool, or Magpul's Armor's wrench, it's enclosed. That's a negative in my book. But I mean, it still works really, really well. This is a really great tool. I just, in my humble opinion, think the Midwest Industries tool is a lot better. It is significantly better. I like their bottle opener. It's inviting. It's a lot. People who look at this know what this thing is supposed to do and what it's going to do, as opposed to Magpul's bottle opener. It's kind of hidden. Again, sleek. I like that. Minimalist. It has its place. I just think Midwest Industries did it a little bit better. In terms of comfort, I think a case can be made that the Magpul Armor's wrench is going to be a little bit more comfortable to hold, just because it's, the design is so consistent and there's uniformity on both sides, as opposed to the the Midwest Industries Armor's wrench. There's a little bit of variety here. There's a lot of a lot going on. However, you can still grip this thing really, really comfortably. Really, really comfortably. And man, this is a great tool, man. I really, really, really like the Midwest Industries tool. I think this is a clear winner, and it has, some of the other things on both of the tools is information. So if you don't have the information readily available, it gives you the torque specs for barrel nuts, castle nuts, and flash hiders. And then of course you got the exact same thing on the Midwest Industry tool, barrel nuts, castle nut, flash hider. Made in the USA. So let's see, barrel nut 30 to 80 foot-pounds. Okay, that's correct. Castle nut torque 40 foot-pounds. Okay, that's correct. And then flash hider torque 20 feet-pounds of torque. This is this flash hider torque says 30 feet-pounds of torque. Am I reading this right? Yeah, this one says 20 and this one says 30. Man. All right, so we got conflicting information coming from both of these wrenches. So all the more reason to read the manual, to read the description of what it is that you're buying. And if you don't know, it makes more sense to trust the manufacturer of the product. So if you have like a VG6, gamma 556 compensator, you know, don't trust the wrenches. You know, contact Gamma and ask what their, you know, what the truth is. So yeah, this is just a quick overview of these products and talking about, you know, just comparing both of them. While they're very similar, I do believe there's a clear winner here, and I really, really do like this Midwest Industries tool. Let me know what you guys think. What's your opinion? Personally, I think I'm going to be reaching for this a lot more, you know, quite a bit more so than my other wrenches. And of course this guy is just going to be in my my utility closet or in my range bag where it belongs, because it's just a great tool. It's really, really sturdy. This is a little bit thicker. It's a little bit wider than the no, thickness is about the same. The width, the Magpul has got to be by just a little bit, but I mean, this is plenty juicy thick in the right places. So yeah, I'm not worried about it. Again, let me know what you guys think. Hope you enjoyed the video. You got any questions, let me know. Don't forget to check me out on my alternative tech sites. Most of my videos go up there at once, as opposed to YouTube. I only upload one video a day to not bombard the algorithm, whatever, blah, 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 who cares. So yeah, check me out, my alt tech sites, and I will be doing exclusives. Not too often, but I do them enough to where it warrants you signing up and following me there. Peace.